Musk. We all know him. We all have our opinions about him. It's been in the news quite a lot lately with the likes of Donald J. Trump. But we're not here to talk about politics today. We are here to talk about his colonization plans, specifically his plans to colonize Mars. Are they actually crazy, or do they make any sense? Also, shout out to my autocorrect. I already fixed this, but let me know if you guys see this still as the title of the stream. Instead of Elon Musk's plans to colonize Mars, it corrected it to Nelson Musk. I don't know, I changed it. It's not changing for me, though. Anyway, let's get right into this.
Elon Musk has a plan for the planet Mars, a vision so bold it could become the most ambitious journey humanity has ever embarked on, and the work to get us there has already begun. Some people would call it a utopia, others consider it a nightmare, but what we are really looking at is the future, according to the mind of Elon Musk.
I mean, so, like, you have to have at least a couple people that are going to want to go to Mars. Like, you have, what 8 billion people on planet Earth? You can find a couple million to populate a city on Mars. And just never be able to come back to Earth, or only be able to come back to Earth, like, after working there for however long. Finding the people isn't the problem. It's, like, getting all of the infrastructure there and then who's paying for it.
Now, this all began properly in 2016 with Elon Musk's grand design for an interplanetary transport system, essentially a gigantic rocket that was
Starship!
built for one job, and one job only, to ferry large groups of colonizers from the Earth to Mars. Now, of course, going to Mars was one of the foundational ideas behind SpaceX back in 2001, but the original plan was...
Oh, well. Dude, I didn't know that SpaceX started way back then. Like, that was like well before NASA kind of hung the space shuttle program up. That's pretty crazy.
To deliver a greenhouse to the surface of the red planet so that people could see new life begin on a distant world, and then they would be inspired to someday go there themselves. It was a very cool idea, but it was also the wrong idea. People have been dreaming about exploring the stars for thousands of years. They didn't need Elon Musk to remind them that space...
Yeah, I mean, we went to the moon before Elon wanted us to go to Mars. Like, we need more than inspiration. We need some type of vehicle to get there. So he's on the right track, just for the wrong reasons, I suppose.
Was cool. They needed Elon Musk to build them a spaceship that could make it happen.
Why do I use Nirvana? No one asked you!
Sorry for the ads. I refuse to pay for YouTube Premium.
In a 2014 interview with the Khan Academy,
God, he
Elon
looks young
said,
there.
I thought that there wasn't enough will, but there actually was plenty of will if people thought there was a way. So then I decided, okay, well, I need to work on the way. Now, over that decade of work, Elon's interplanetary transport system has gone through a number of updates and design changes, with prototype manufacturing finally beginning in 2019 under a new name, Starship.
How do I sign up to, like, become a test pilot for SpaceX? That looks fun as hell.
In April 2023, we saw the first launch of a full-scale Starship Super Heavy rocket, and by November 2024, SpaceX had achieved controlled landings of both the upper stage ship and the Super Heavy booster. In 2026, SpaceX will send 2 or more of these starships to Mars, and they'll make the first...
You guys think that they're actually going to make it, like, by that deadline? I'm sure they could, like, eventually do it, or maybe they're ready to do it now, but there's so much red tape. And then you're not even talking about setbacks, or maybe, you know, they launch the first one and it explodes on takeoff, or, you know, something doesn't deploy, the boosters don't act right as it's landing on Mars and it crash lands. Like, something's going to happen. There's no way they hit that deadline. But then again, I don't know. You know, NASA's infamous for that for different reasons. SpaceX, privately owned for-profit companies, a lot of shareholders want to see those plans go off without a hitch. So maybe.
Attempt at landing on the red planet. In November 2024, Elon wrote, "I am highly confident that we can send several uncrewed starships to Mars in 2 years. If those
That would be
ships
so
can
cool.
increase the crater count on Mars, then crewed ships can be sent in 4 years. So it might not work the first time."
When was this video? When was this video published? Oh, 3 months ago. But he did say in 2016, right? So, yeah, 2016. So in 4 years, we should have already had crewed colonies on Mars. Since, what, the last 5 years? By the way, this is a dope video so far. I'm getting this from the Tesla Space. If you're on YouTube, they make a lot of cool videos. Please go subscribe.
Won't work the first time, but this is all part of the plan, and we are seeing it unfold in real time. The Starship is an undeniable proof that Elon Musk is taking this all deadly serious. SpaceX is going to Mars. Now, what happens when we get there? Well, Elon has.
Is this soil
that,
poisonous?
but it's a little less obvious than the transportation.
The soil
pathway.
is like poisonous,
This involves
right?
a culmination of every
Oh,
business
God.
that Elon has founded over the past 25 years. It all comes together on Mars. Tesla is going to be the first major crossover event.
Dude, that would.
Recently, what the first Starship payload.
Their stocks are gonna skyrocket, dude. You would be the first car company, literally the first car company, to be able to advertise that. First car on Mars, holy sh... Woo.
To Mars would be, Elon simply replied, Cybertrucks and Optimus robots. Now we can imagine that at this point, everyone has seen a Cybertruck. You know what that is, and it's actually a pretty solid platform for a Mars vehicle. The terrain of the red planet is brutal. It's a desert full of broken rocks and boulders, leftovers from billions of years of asteroid impacts and volcanic eruptions. So we will need something big and sturdy. Then there's Optimus, also known as the Tesla bot. This is a new project that Elon has been pouring a lot of resources into. The idea is to create an artificial substitute for a human being, both in terms of abilities and intelligence. So there are a lot of very practical uses.
Would you get a robot? Would you actually get like a Tesla robot if it was just fully released to the public and it was affordable? Like, it's not like, I think Unitree's is like 16,000, or maybe it's Optimus. I don't know. One of the two like major ones, Unitree or Tesla, their robot is like 16,000. It'd be cool to have, but a new car would be cool to have too, and it'd probably be a little bit more useful unless Optimus can drive. Go to the store for that. I don't know. It'd be kind of creepy for me to have an Optimus robot just walking around the house. Because, you know, if I'm sitting there, I smoke a joint and go to sleep, I've forgotten, at least for the first week, that I bought a Tesla robot. And just to wake up and it's staring, just standing there, just staring right at it. Oh, no. And isn't that what it's supposed to do too? Because it like stares and monitors your breathing and heart rate and all that when you're asleep. Oh, that'd be so creepy.
Uses for Optimus, but the first time we saw this robot design, thoughts immediately went to Mars. And the Tesla bot will be a critical part of the plan. Optimus would become the first settler of Mars, and their autonomous humanoid abilities would allow them to begin establishing some infrastructure on the red planet that the first humans can use to survive. Because if we are going to send people to Mars, then we should at least make the best effort possible to ensure they get back home alive, even though survival is no guarantee, and Elon himself has affirmed this many times. As recently as 2021, Elon told an interviewer, quote, "A bunch of people will probably die. He went
Jeez.
on to elaborate on that point, saying, "It's dangerous, it's uncomfortable, it's a long journey, you might not come back alive, but it's a glorious adventure and it will be an amazing experience."
Like, okay, so I know it's the government, right? NASA is the government. They can send people into space. If people don't come back from space, okay, cool. It's the government who's suing them, right? For wrongful death on the job. Do you think Tesla would be covered or SpaceX would be covered? Like, you send 100 people up, or however many people up on starships, for the first round of colonization of Mars. You really think if that, ends in disaster, that those families aren't going to try to sue? Even if the people that went up on the starships signed clauses saying, hey, it's okay, I might die. Their families are so suing. Do you think they could get away with it? Like, if someone died going to Mars on one of their ships?
Imagine a pen that not only writes flawlessly, but also hovers, defying gravity as it spins gracefully on your desk. That is the magic of the hover pen from
Oh,
Mobius.
no.
This isn't just a writing tool.
Okay. Yeah. Here? Yeah, maybe?
Get ready to reimagine.
Oh my god.
Hover pen, a product that's as inspiring will steadily grow in capability to become what's known
Okay.
as an artificial general intelligence, or AGI.
So we're talking about
That
the
basically
singularity.
means a digital duplicate of the human brain, something that can learn and create and problem solve all on its own. Grok could become the brain of the Mars colony,
Grok.
and it would be a powerful resource for people on the Red Planet who are cut off from the Earth by a communications delay that can be as long as 20 minutes just going one way. So if settlers on Mars need immediate help, Earth won't be there to answer, but Grok would.
Grok.
And that is where Elon's most unusual company, Neuralink, comes into play.
I switched from due dates to due dates, and it made me go from weeks behind to weeks ahead of my
Uh,
deadline. You think I used to just
no YouTube Premium, sorry.
If people on
Uh-oh, what happened? Okay, checking that everything is still operational. Something just disconnected, and I know what that was. Anyway, I love how you can't see OBS. It's so funny. Looks like I'm just clicking on random things. I promise I'm not. Getting this browser audio back for us. There we go. Alright, that should be good.
AI to survive,
It is
we might
good.
as well.
Anyway, it kind of sounds like he's trying to make us into the Borg from Star Trek. Just hive-minded. What's you up to, Elon, man? I don't know if I like this. I don't know. I didn't sign up for all that.
Wire their brains straight into that computer system. You see, Neuralink is a brain-computer interface. They open up your skull, stitch tiny wires into the outer layer of your brain tissue, and then connect those into a microcomputer that now lives in your head. Now your brainwaves become computer inputs. One of the things that Elon is always talking about with Neuralink is this idea of merging the human mind with AI. On Earth, this idea is a bit frightening, but on Mars, it would be the difference between life and death. Why send a person outside into the deadly climate of Mars to fix a solar panel when you could use Neuralink to remotely inhabit the body of a humanoid robot and
Oh,
put the body in
God.
harm's way instead?
This is Surrogates. This is the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis. Except just set on Mars. This is like how it starts. That's insane.
Why waste time in an emergency searching for information when you could have all of the knowledge of the human race pumped directly into your cerebral cortex? It's trippy stuff that sounds like science fiction, but again, these are all things that Elon is working on right now. It's all part of the plan. So, let's say that people manage to arrive safely on Mars in their starship. They find a fully functioning base there maintained by Tesla bots, they explore the planet's surface in Cybertrucks, they leverage their brain implants and artificial general intelligence to survive and thrive in a hostile, remote world cut off from society. Now what? Well, Elon's plan is to establish a self-sustaining city on.
Yeah, see, this is the part that like stuck in my mind because I saw another video about it, right? His way of getting people after like the first colonizers, getting people to move up and create a self-sustaining, essentially civilization on Mars, is he essentially will be like, okay, we've worked out all the kinks, all the people dying, they're yeah, no one's dying anymore. We've worked everything out. We're gonna give you a free ride to Mars, but the catch is the cost of that ride. Yeah, you got to work it off when you get to Mars. Otherwise, you can't leave and come home. Like, that just seems like indentured servitude to me. Unless there's like a specific clause that says, hey, if you don't want to work and pay that off, then that's cool. You can stay on Mars. You know, I don't know. It just seems like indentured servitude.
On Mars. This would be populated by 1 million people, and it would be constructed with 100 million tons of supplies and material that are shipped over from Earth to Mars in 1,000 Starship rockets. So I guess we start building that city, and to do it, we'll need some heavy machinery. This is where the Boring Company comes in. On November 14th, 2024, Elon Musk wrote on X, "Tunnels will be important on Mars." And the Boring Company responded to that by writing, "Prufrock fits nicely in the Starship payload bay." Prufrock 4 is the latest iteration of the Boring Company's tunneling machine, and it now has the unique ability to launch directly into the ground and begin digging. No site preparation required.
That's kind of cool,
The reality of life on Mars will require significant protection from the elements. That means radiation, micrometeorites, atmospheric exposure, and dust storms. Giant glass dome habitats like what we see in science fiction are cool and all, but what's going to happen to that giant dome the first time that a planet-wide dust storm kicks up? These global storms typically happen about once every 3 years on Mars. So, going underground would be a great way to solve some of the biggest challenges that the planet...
Honestly, like if you got like cryogenically frozen, right? And then you woke up, you're cured of whatever sickness you had and blah, 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 blah. You look out the window and you see Earth. And way off in the distance, it's just marble-sized, you know? And you look down and the ground is red, but there's plants and there's water on the surface. Like, what's the first thing you're asking?
planet Mars throws at us, and Elon Musk knows this very well. There's a clip of Elon answering questions at a conference back in 2017, and when asked about how the tunnel boring idea would relate to his Mars colony plans, Elon said this: "I do think getting good at digging tunnels could be really helpful for Mars. Building underground habitats with good radiation shielding, you could build a whole city underground if you wanted to. People would still want to go outside from time to time, but you can build a tremendous amount underground with the right boring technology on Mars. I do think there is a lot of overlap in that area." Elon also theorized that even though there would be significant technological overlap, there would need to be a different optimization for a Mars boring machine versus an Earth boring machine. And he said that he expects there will be a lot of ice mining happening on Mars, and in general, a lot of mining activity that these boring machines could be used for. But
Yeah.
let's be real here. If the human race is going to remain on Mars permanently as a second home world, then we're not going to be able to stay underground
Dude, I gotta watch that movie again. I gotta watch that movie again.
forever. We've got to figure out a way
OG Total Recall?
habitable.
Isn't that what it was
That's where
from?
terraforming comes in.
Mhm.
This is highly ambitious stuff, but Elon still thinks
No, was
that
it Total
terraforming
Recall?
Mars is something that
Pretty sure it
will
was.
be possible. He was talking about this in 2023 on the Joe Rogan podcast and pointing out that a massive change in the Martian climate could be triggered by releasing water and CO2 that is currently frozen into the ground.
He
We
wants
could
to nuke
create
Mars.
global warming on Mars, and here's how we do that.
We nuke
We
it.
nuke Mars.
We nuke it. We
It
nuke
sounds
Mars.
silly, but this is a plan that Elon Musk has advocated for many times in the past. And
Dude, I kind of want to buy one of those t-shirts now. The Nuke Mars t-shirts. I kind of want one, though.
he does have a good point. There is really no faster or more effective way to vaporize all of those frozen greenhouse gases that are trapped.
Yeah, but okay, so you vaporize all the frozen greenhouse gases with radioactive nuclear fallout. So what happens to all of that, gas that's now in the Martian atmosphere? It mixes with the fallout, and then it falls to Earth as rain, falls to Mars as rain. Now you've spread radioactive nuclear fallout over the entire planet, and it's not habitable for the next 1,000 years.
In the polar regions of Mars. Water vapor and CO2 in the atmosphere would trap heat from the sun and begin to raise the surface temperature of the red planet.
Also, wouldn't raising the surface temperature be a band-aid on an arterial bleed? Because if Mars has no or very little internal temperature, right? It doesn't have magma or an active subterranean, whatever the hell it's called. If it's not geologically active, I should say. Raising the surface temperature doesn't do anything, or it does very, very little for a very, very short amount of time, right?
Of the surface on Mars is full of ice. It's concentrated in the poles, but there's water everywhere. It's just covered in a lot of dust. And Mars is already about as radioactive as it gets. After billions of years of exposure to solar winds and cosmic radiation, you
Fair
probably
point.
couldn't make it any worse just by nuking the polar regions.
Fair
But
point.
that brings us to the big question: who's in charge? If there are 1 million people living on Mars, they are going to need a government of some sort, a leadership structure, a legal system, a constitution that can be upheld and enforced. That's one of the
We,
things
the
that
people
is
of the first
in
Martian
Elon's
Republic.
system right now.
I could have swore he said they'd be self-governing. Yeah. So, I think his plans are an equal mix of crazy and could work, and also we are slowly becoming the Borg from Star Trek. Yeah, that was fun. That was a good video. Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube and you enjoyed that, please hit the like button. If you want to see future videos, please hit the bell notification icon. Make sure you're subscribed. I upload a couple times a week, usually on weekdays. And if you're watching this on Twitch, thank you for watching. Usually try to upload stream weeknights at 12 a.m. Alaska Standard Time. Thank you guys for watching. Also, side note, it's snowing. You guys see that? I don't know if you can see it because I'm just in the corner, but corner of the video somewhere. But it's snowing. Why is it snowing? It snowed more in the last week than it has all winter. Oh, cabin fever is a thing.